Pirate winery, a Minnesotan family. Pirate winery, this is our home.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Ilhan Omar's worst nightmare is asking a very simple question, which is, how did the poorest member of Congress become the richest, or one of the richest members of Congress in a time span of just a year? This is what happened with Ilhan Omar's wealth. She went from negative $65,000. That's a mixture of car loan, student debt, and so on when she entered Congress, to $30 million, and that's in just a few short years. Now, the math on that, of course, ain't mathin'. She gets paid $100,000 a year in Congress. That's a good salary. Obviously, it's way more than she deserves, or any member of Congress deserves. But nonetheless, that, of course, doesn't add up to $30 million after taxes, which she has to pay. That barely pays off her debt and gives her a little bit of a cushion. So again, the math ain't mathin'. What the hell is going on here? Ilhan Omar's net worth skyrockets after denying she was a millionaire. Now, of course, this is mixed with all of the fraud in little Mogadishu of Minneapolis. What makes a lot of people very, very curious, what the hell is actually happening. She filed a new financial disclosure. What is there to see? I mean, we've been looking at $25 million in Rose Lake Capital, $5 million in a fake wine company. This is a wine company that we exposed and went viral for exposing, frankly. You can see right here. We investigated Ilhan Omar's fake winery. We found out that, here's exactly how you commit this kind of fraud, right? So let's say you have you need to launder money. You have a bunch of money coming in that isn't on the up and up. You need to launder that money. You need to inflate your assets to show that these assets somehow are worth so much more, and that's why you have the cash in your bank account. This is why the mob owns delis, right? Those delis are worth $30 million. No, they're not. You're making drug money or you're smuggling things. That's how you're making your money. In 2023, Ilhan Omar's winery, Est Crew LLC. Why doesn't Ilhan Omar own a winery? That's not Sharia, right? Muslims can't own wineries. They can't drink wine. Anyway, it was valued at $5 million in 2024. This must be an incredibly valuable winery. But of course, the winery has no phone line, no physical winery, social media has gone dark, barely functional website, and no wine. It's a fake winery. We exposed this and went totally viral for his 4 million views, 40,000 reposts, 101,000 likes. So this is obviously something that bears a lot of scrutiny, and it's something that finally is getting investigated. Here we go. James Comer demands business records from Rep. Ilhan Omar's husband. Yes, thank you. Because it's Ilhan Omar's crooked-ass husband that is creating all of these businesses, and they are now demanding that they get looked into it. Look at this, Est Crew LLC, Rose Lake Capital, which, by the way, doesn't even have an operational phone line. Neither of these places have operational phone line. The Rose Lake Capital, that's worth $25 million. That's based in a WeWork in Washington, D.C. Okay, here we go. I'm demanding financial information from companies linked to Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar's husband. His companies reportedly went from $51,000 to $30 million in just 1 year with zero investor information. So I want to know who's funding this exactly. Who is buying access? This is the way that it happens in Washington, D.C., right? You want Ilhan Omar's vote? You just make sure that you invest in her husband's business, and then that business can launder the money. And this is obviously James Comer subpoenaing Timothy Minette. This is Ilhan Omar's third husband, no relation, not her brother. This is just a scumbag political operative from Minneapolis. House Oversight Committee, James Comer. This is the guy who's forcing the Clintons, by the way, to testify for Jeffrey Epstein, husband of Ilhan Omar, suggesting that those records may have shown buying access. Although it is common for U.S. politicians and their family to rapidly gain wealth despite modest official pay, Omar and her husband, Tim Minette, are mounting a storm of Republican inquiries over the newfound wealth. Comer demanded Minette, an investor and consultant, to hand over documents pertaining to two companies, Est Crew LLC and Rose Lake Capital. Again, the winery company is fascinating here because not only is it totally fraudulent and it's something that you can prove, right? But also it was sued for fraud. So the company had to settle out of court with one of their investors because the investor said, it's a fraudulent company. The investor said, no, I invested in this. It's not real. This is a fake company. Okay. White House has questioned whether Minette and Omar are connected to the mass defrauding of social services program. So this would be how you'd launder money, right? So if you got $20, $30 million off a fake daycare, how are you going to launder money? You set up what looks like a business, legitimate business. You can launder that money through that business. Yeah, it's tough work. I'm not trying to give you advice on how to do it. This is how you end up in jail, right? Oversight Committee says Rose Lake Capital Escrew LLC chairman claims all documents and communications related to travel by anybody affiliated with Rose Lake Capital Escrow LLC to the United Arab Emirates, Somalia, Kenya, travel undertaken to solicit business in other countries. Omar, who was born in Somalia, and Minette were investigated by the Justice Department under Democrat Joe Biden, but the pair has not faced a criminal charges for any wrongdoing. Comer requests for documents could prelude a subpoena forcing delivery. The letter cites dramatic jump in their net worth. Spokesperson for the spokesperson didn't respond. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, who's from Minnesota, says, "I'm confident that Comer investigation into her suspicious wealth will reveal the truth. The truth will set people free, and some people packing maybe back to Somalia." Okay, well, there you go. This is other influencers going to the principal address of Escrew Winery. This is a really good one. I'm going to give Angel Rose a follow here. "I visited the principal address of Escrew Winery. The winery is co-owned by Representative of Minnesota Ilhan Omar's husband. It seems to be a shell business. We were informed that 40 wineries operate out of this location, and Escrew hasn't been a client here for years. It's strange because in 2024, they made $15,000. 2025, it exploded to $5 million, but they weren't producing any wine. No business license exists for Escrew at the property. The wineries at the property are licensing. Would love to try and promote Ilhan Omar's wine. Follow me for part 2. This is great content. Great
So
work.
let's see. This is Suite B. Again, that is the address where Ilhan Omar's winery is. You can see that a different winery is here, punched down cellars.
What does this note say?
E Street Crew does not make wine here. They were a client many years ago and have ceased operation. Their operating address is linked to this address like all other client wineries because of state and federal filings. So I wonder what else they have to show for it.
So show them. It's the fraud, ladies and gentlemen. Demands answers. Yeah, this is what we've been looking for. And we're extremely, extremely proud to have played a very small part in it, right? Yeah, just a small part. Going completely viral on our investigation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we do around here. Okay. Like, share, and subscribe if you want further investigations into Democrat criminals in Congress, all criminals in Congress, frankly. We'll be here for you. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.